I want to share with you a tweet from an artist that I stumbled upon through our good friend Eric Rhodes, who had posted that this is a must-read tweet. And if he says something is a must-read, I feel like I must read it, right? So I thought you might be interested in this take. So this is an artist. His name is Sterling Crispin at Sterling Crispin on X.com. And we will post the link to this tweet in the show notes. But he has a very strong take on AI art that I wanted to share with you and just kind of see if you had any thoughts or reaction to. So this is the tweet. The problem with AI art stems from deep-rooted cultural, psychological, and educational differences. Some key issues. Most people mistakenly conflate craft with art. Most don't know the last 100 years of art history or intentionally reject it outright. Most people fear change, and adapting your model of the world to a new world that's rapidly changing through technology is repulsive to many, especially if it challenges too many closely held beliefs at once. So we'll stop there for a second. This is a very long tweet. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I think he touches on a good points. Do you have any initial reactions to this idea that people kind of fear change and maybe may not be open to learning about or accepting AI art as art?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple episodes touching on AI art. I mean, you know how I felt about it at the beginning, and then as we spoke to more and more artists through the show, like it really opened up my eyes to the capacities of AI art and what it can do. Right? Like I remember talking to Wonder Mundo a long
Right.
time ago in our show, right? Almost more than a year ago, where she mentioned that AI art can help people that have disabilities,
Yep.
right? And I never thought about that until that point. And I was like, and it kind of ring a bell. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, it does, because AI art still, you still have to indicate how you want the product to look at the end of the day. So it's still your idea, it's still your vision of what art or what it is that you're making should be,
Yeah,
right?
and there's a skill associated with that, right? You see a lot about prompt engineering and understanding how to make
Mhm.
it do what you want to do. And so, not to say it's entirely different from learning how to craft or mold a certain piece of material, like a physical piece of material. If you're learning how to mold or shape or craft anything in the digital world, I think there's a lot of credit that's due there, right? Whether you know how to code because you know how to manipulate the zeros and ones the right way, there's a skill there and there's an art and a craft to it.
No, there's definitely a skill there. I mean, you can just tell, AI, hey, make me a microphone, right? Like what color do you want the microphone? What do you want the background to
Yeah,
be? Where do you want to sit it on? Like, there's a lot of thought behind how to create something. Yeah, you could create something simple and call it art, but in reality, I think that what I learned from AI art at that point was that it's really used in a positive way, and like, again, like the disability part, I never thought about that. Someone who wants
yeah,
to be an artist, but hey, he has some sort of disability and he can't paint, or can't use his hands to like draw or whatever. Like he can use um some sort of wording, or like,
right.
maybe they can, I don't know, maybe they can speech type and see what they can create from it, and,
Yeah,
and that will be their art, like what they created. So yeah, I think it has good uses, and I understand that. And yeah, there's people that are not going to be open to it. Like, we've talked about how many people out there were like, oh no, AI art, it's not real art. No, it is real art. Every art piece that people make comes out of something else that you look at and that you see. Like, you get inspired by different things that you look at and you see. Me as an artist, I've been an artist my whole life. Like, every time I draw something, it's an inspiration of something that I looked at or something that I heard. Like, for example, the Unvoiced Echoes
yep,
collection on OpenSea that I have.
yep.
Obviously that collection, it resonates with a lot of. If you look at my IG videos, usually there's a music behind it when I do like the time lapse videos of me drawing, right? But that music is what inspired me to make that particular drawing, right? So if you really look at the artwork and you go to the IG page and you listen to the music, it kind of goes with the art that I'm creating, and that's how I get inspired by it. Yeah, I only have four up. I have a lot more I got to put up.
You
I
got
got to
more to upload, right?
Yeah, I have like eight more to upload. But that collection, it's really more about like, people dealing, men, especially men dealing with like depression and anxiety. Because obviously, I've been very open about my depression and anxiety that I deal with, in the last couple of years. And men have been like taught to not talk about their
Right.
feelings, right? So I feel like that expressions that I'm capturing in those pictures there are have to do a lot with like how you truly feel about yourself at that moment, right? And it's some cool art at the same
Yeah.
time. If you
It's
want to
very
get
cool.
into OpenSea, you know where to get it from. Hit me up or DM me, and I'll let you know exactly how to get it.
One day you might be the artist of the week for our show. Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe one.
A couple more points here. Again, we're not going to go through the whole thing. Um, I like this idea. On the topic of craft and art, there's a very popular school of thought that the more physical labor goes into creating an artwork, the better it is, especially if the artwork is hyper realistic and large. I think this is one of the most commonly and closely held beliefs about art, and people hate being challenged on it. If you showed most people two similar photorealistic paintings side by side and then revealed that one had been painting using the aid of a projector, they'd quickly respond that using a projector is cheating and might even say it is no longer an artwork. So, yeah, I just think this is an interesting take, and I think, especially from an artist's view, to say why is what I'm doing and putting my energy and effort and talent into any less valuable than something else someone's making with just a different medium. So I respect the hell out of this, Sterling Crispin, and I almost tweeted at him to say, hey, why don't we get you on the show to talk about this? But I know you and I wanted to catch up on some things. So following this, we're gonna clip this, tag him, and be like, let's chat, let's talk AI art.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to just hear his take on the AI art part. I mean, again, like we've had a lot of guests in our show that have talked and touched on AI art, and most of them are pro AI art for the most
Yeah,
part, right?
yeah, I think you have to be in a digital world, right? You gotta be open, and I think when you spend enough time